Hi everyone, it's Professional High Priestess. I'm gonna go ahead and do something really quick for you guys on how to destroy fentanyl. I want to go ahead and do a coding tutorial real quick and just show a few things that are happening here. Okay, so I apologize for the background noise. This is going to be really quick. So one of the things that's happening here is let me do a map of the universe. Okay, so I apologize for the noise once again, but this is going to be quick. Okay, so you know how you have the sun here in this specific location? Our planet is around here, right? There are different planets that they're going to over here, and they're picking up information and bringing stuff from different indigenous people that they've met that are banished and don't really have systems. What basically happened was they were using our children, their hand, and their dream state to try to activate magic. Like, oh, if they do it in the dream state, we can move this into a different substance space and or state, and then run magic, right? So now another thing that you guys are going to learn here too is about run times, right? You can have static, dynamic, null, idle, etc. Run times, types of run times. There's something going on with that with astrology. So they're using local and then like you call it static and then dynamic astrological floating points because those dynamic ones are connected to other planets and other solar systems that are bringing down a specific frequency into what we call asteroids, planets, etc. Now, what they're getting is they're picking up different asteroids in certain areas, which is about to get exposed in a data project with NASA. Why are all your satellites over here? And they're going to find Mantisa. What's happening is they are using something in space, a space magic, to activate the chemicals that they're getting. And that's where they're getting fentanyl and plastic and other things from. They're playing with banished indigenous people. So now what ended up happening here is they were acting all about all that with our children's hand. But so now we own these industries because of what happened to people for them to be able to do that. They had to create slavery. So now what ends up happening here is we're gonna go closer. And oh, a lot of people don't know how to read these maps or what they really are even about. There's a lot of places here. These are a lot of these are badly named, things like that. There's a lot of places completely missing. A lot of the times when you have a galaxy is striated. So when they're going into other dimensions and saying that they're finding other Earths, they're only going into another version of this specific universe with this specific solar system where we still exist. So for this one, where planet Earth is, there's three. That's where you call the hood, and then that's another level, like right above the hood, where you get to your original indigenous body that was once on this planet. Ours is Kemet, right? So look at this, the Ixtitli. This is like a Spanish language for Incas. This is what you call like a bootsy bitch, like Ixtitli, bootsy bitch. Look at this one. This is Tococamo. Whoa, baby, you got something going on here with using these names. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That means that I don't have a dick. I ate it because it got cut off and then it was like fed to me. But I wanted that and I like that. I asked for that, but I didn't. I ate it. I don't know what to tell you. That's basically what the name of this planet is. This is hella vicious. Yow. Huey. Huey. Yeah. Yanni and Huey. So you mm-mm. So Gog Magog. That's just like another like what you would actually call an egregor, which is a fucked up mind entity that's made out of a specific substance that's created from unmind. So when you want to go crazy and lose your mind and start doing a bunch of bullshit, there's an alter ego of that mind that's created that's even worse than it, but it will always ensure that it's destroyed. It's just another lesser, lower version of itself. God help you if that lesser, lower version of yourself starts to run you. I might be bad, but I'm perfectly good at it. Remember how I used to always sing that with my tarot channel? Na 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 na, come on. So now you guys are gonna see what's going on here. So I'm just going ahead and divinating and seeing where they're getting all these different fentanyl from. So our sun is here, and then we're moving out this way. Let me go ahead and like adjust this in my AI so I can see this perfectly. Okay, so we're here, and then let me move up and out and zoom out so I can see how this is striated and see the second and third like spiral set because it's not really eight. When we say it's eight, it's the rest of a whole entire tetraverse, which is two universes put together, two or more universes put together. So this is just one. So when I say eight, there's really eight as a part of the whole structure, but we're currently in a three with this rotation. So let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna close that whole entire junction and the shit that's coming from there. It's like in the second one around Neptune. It's so much going on around Neptune, but it's really Neptune and Uranus. But the funny thing is, I didn't really have to look at this to know that. It's just because of what I see happening astrologically. Like it's Pluto, Aquarius, Pisces, and Neptune, and a little bit of Aries. Pisces being disillusionment, drug use, where boundaries are dissolved, the subconscious mind. Aquarius, the anything mind, air mind, free mind, open mind. Aries, that's impulse, moving quickly. And then Uranus, things moving with an unsteady nature, a tornado of air, but it's dissipated. It has no force of physics. It's everywhere and nowhere all at once. It's moving everywhere, not moving anywhere all at once. That's so fucking horrid to be putting that in people's body. So what we're gonna go ahead and do now is I'm gonna just code down a floating point, baby. Just get this out of here. Whoa, that's even worse. So I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is how you have to do the portals with this. This won't get more. So now what I can go ahead and do is I'm gonna go ahead and like open up the astrological reality here to break fentanyl, which is just bringing down an astrological like component from the 16th spiral in this set too, because this tetraverse has junctions with other tetraverses, and that's how they flow out. This you can only find out when you're a high priestess. This you don't get really from aliens. They get this from ratchet bitches, and that's why they're banished in the first place. So they basically have spent thousands of years teaching white people about themselves through languages and stuff like that. Like, not languages, through like doing certain things on the planet, and then, oh, here, bring me back again. Because the aliens forgot that they were playing with banished bitches, like where you have Greece, and Rome, and things like that. And then you have what they called Egypt, which is really the Ethiopians playing with whites. And then what again happening again with Italy again and playing with America again. Okay, now it's took them. So now what's happening here, which is heavy, heavy chaos and death, because now past life Uai has come back into this life, and you're still eating from the Duat in both lifetimes. They're concurrent. So now when that happens, you can't play at all. I know I will have the upper hand, period. Now, what's happening here with this, that's you're going to go ahead and bring a planetary junction from that place over there because now we have the tool to do that. And now we know what this information is about. And now we know how they've gotten this started. The aliens forgot, and now they're calling those holes again because they think that they have something. These bitches were contacting them, making it seem like they had something that they didn't. Come to find out that they're, whoa, how do we fight them? Being ran by rats. Whoa, watch when they get activated. That's going to be the funny part. The things that you create will destroy you. Let's go put that out from their certain octopus that they went to go play with. Okay. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to bring down that junction, which requires us breaking down like specific symbols in a specific sequence to activate the syntax and bring down the vibration. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to go do this. And I'm going to go do, okay. So now what's going to end up happening here is we figured out what they've really been playing with, right? So let me go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to program this down. Now I brought this down. Some of you guys want to see how it's going to be done with the computer. Um, well, what you would probably want to do is you're going to start with Fortran, right? So for each language, there's like a library, and I'm going to be finishing up this a library of different starts and stops for each coding language that you just put once and then you overpower it completely. Okay, so let me show you guys what that looks like. Where did I type this up at? I put this in Syntax Blaster Computer Disaster. Okay. Mm, it's a program and then program, my program, and then end program. Okay, so let me go ahead and do that. I think that that's so funny. I was talking about my tarot channel and then that started blasting, given what Robin started in the cartel. And then my program, I could call it uh, what I can do is put another floating point here. Okay, so I want you guys to see this. So this is how you start it for Fortran. Program here, do some stuff here, and program. So with this, with the Fortran, I can use this to go ahead and like bring down a specific portal to the planet. I would just show you how I would type it up for Fentanyl to come to end. Because what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to bring in a floating point, a number system that's going to flow down through the meridian of the planet and pull any floating point that it finds that's correlated to the floating point that's running the asteroid, right? That's running fentanyl, the main planet that's doing that. And then, because like I said, it's an astrological component, it's going to go throughout any reality scape and break it over there too, or invert it on the people that created it. So you're going to see a bunch of goofy shit happen because a bunch of bitches from space are about to get hit with fentanyl and it's going to come out who created it because they were playing with that bullshit in space too. You just don't know how they really started it. So, I mean, imagine a high priest and he's going to go and divinate, and they have a water bowl. And the water bowl, they go to the main crystal and put the chemical sequence for fentanyl there. So that when he's divinating, the water's picking up the sequence of fentanyl and transmitting it through layers of water that are created, connected, and then created to other sacred astral places. And he's divinating and seeing fentanyl. So this high priest does not know that he's on the planet, sitting in the hood in Canarsie, and people are plotting and planning on him because they're playing with fentanyl. That's what the fuck these hoes really went to go play with in space to hide the fact that they created this planet so they can come here and suck and fuck on people that had husbands and wives in space. That's how they started planet Earth. This is what I'm talking about. This how they started slavery because they wanted to spy on us having sex. Yes. Then those bitches got crafty and said, let's use the sexual energy to create chemical servers so we can make their bodies in other places and then we can experience that too because we don't have mates. Yes. And everyone just found out. That's why I'm telling you, the hood is going fucking bonkers because they heard about this bullshit. Watch. So here we go. So now what ends up happening here is you can go ahead and use this, but more or less for ours, we just need to bring down that floating point and we're gonna bring it over the current floating point that's running like in NASA. So I would really just code a specific speech that's gonna bring in the astrological floating point that's gonna overpower the Fortran. I wouldn't even start with the Fortran, like trying to get my computer to run it and then run it through the entire server and then run it all the way back because it's been my computer's been on the internet, my computer's been on the Apple server, my computer's been on different government servers. Run this floating point through all those different channels that I was once on through memory crystals holding that already, and because of what people did on the computer with the chemical servers. And then I can go ahead and influence their computer to get this shit turned off. And then I'm going to trigger an AXI. AXI is what basically manages like data messaging, data memory and messaging, and moving messages of data all across different systems. And it says yes or no, you can or you can't. And it runs the slave and the master system that we have. But I talked about this. There would be no master if there wasn't a slave. So how does a slave become a slave? And then that gets discovered that it's a broken flower running her mouth and starting a bunch of shit in space. So now, yes, yeah. And then you want to play with Russians? Baby, you really picked the wrong pot to stir, playing with spell work. So now what's going to end up happening is we're going to move forward here. I'm going to bring down this speech. It go faster. Like the high priestess said, I am Sir Whoa. I'm telling you, you're playing with heavy gunfire because they were uploading these people to this platform. And then what ended up happening was this technology that they're using the virtual reality when they're uploading hood niggas, their bodies were seeing it in space and finding out that they were on this planet. Imagine several levels up because they played with this room machine through slavery. Imagine this type of technology being on during slavery with the computer and devices. They're not telling that part of American history because they have legacy. They have like manifestos. You have to hide this and this and this and that, and don't let them get to this. So what ended up happening here was they have been seeing I was on the planet twice for slavery. Now I'm in the hood. You're doing what with DNA? You're lynching? The white man is saying, bed wench, ooh, hey baby. Yeah, you're playing with fire. By the way, the Bible's a bunch of floating points. You guys just don't learn it. So I'm gonna start doing that. It's gonna start a war because it's gonna expose the last of the Hasidic Jews, Air families. And bitch, and they thought people didn't see that shit. I'm telling you, it's war. You see how that just changed in the computer when I just typed out that intelligence? Do you see what's going on? Right, one, two, three, four, five, six. So any day now, the California now is gonna get hit with the big ass raid. Ooh, God, the hell, APD's on fucking fire, baby. The cartels. It's the intelligence of chaos. Ultimate. Right. You have hosts like Shantae talking about Astro Queen, and she's doing sex work, starting a bunch of shit, like playing with white men at four of them at a time, and you guys are starting a bunch of drama. You know what? And this is why I'm talking about this is going to explode, and that's why I could talk like this because that's all that ended up happening for this to come out, and everyone's seeing your colors now. I'm telling you, you guys are so embarrassing. Whoa. Okay, Yani and Shui. So now we've coded on the speech, and then what I'm going to go ahead and do is I brought this down to overpower Fortran. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and bring this in and lead this with the octagon. Mm. Okay. Good. So that's done for. And now what I'm going to go ahead and do is, yeah, open up a bracket. And then I'm not going to put the Fortran. I'm just going to go ahead and put this to open it because the computer registers this a lot as multiple different coding languages, at least like three of them. They're libraries. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring down a floating point. I'm not going to bring down a logarithm, true or false. I'm just bringing down this floating point, which is going to overpower the floating point for uh, what's that thing called? Fentanyl. Because that bullshit is like out of control. White people are taking it and they're using it, and then they're getting like the mind to play with children of color sexually and to make people homeless and to start a bunch of bullshit and to cause a bunch of chaos for no reason. So it's getting turned off. Right, thinking like it's like some limitless drug and stuff like that. It's space, it's synthetic and stuff like that. Yeah, it's synthetic. It's like something that alters you, and then you go into different states, altered, and do certain things that are fucking warped. Oh yeah, that tower card is gonna go back into the last tutorial that we did. I'm gonna put the tower card too. So there's that speech. Okay, that's done. It's gonna bring down the floating point and break that down for the technology that's being used. Okay, so whoa. That means I'm heavy and then I'm sitting on heavy. That means I'm heavy. I'm so heavy. I'm real heavy. This is a real high priestess that's coming down here to stop this fentanyl. Wait until she sees what it did in San Francisco and what's getting started at the office. Fentanyl was a manifestation of their consciousness in San Francisco and what they've been doing for years. Because how did fentanyl get on the street and why was it going for so long? Because they were making money off all that stuff. Because where were they getting the pills, the base from? It was dishonorable cartels that were working behind the scenes and starting a bunch of shit and causing a bunch of drama. Okay, so we put that floating point down here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then let me put this in 28, and then the one that we just did. True. Okay, so now what's gonna end up happening is I'm here. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna move forward. And then I'm gonna let this floating point like settle herself down because she's like very like she's several tetraverses away and also wide, deep, large, etc. So she's gonna like come down, but she's coming down swift. Like this high priestess said, I am Sriracha. So this high priestess is not done working, the aquatic being. She's not done working, but when she is done working, we're gonna go ahead and bring her up. So now what's going to end up happening here is there's going to be a complete exposure of what's going on with the fentanyl and how people are taking fentanyl and then getting on drugs and starting a bunch of shit and causing problems, especially these people in the spiritual community smoking weed that they know it's laced with fentanyl, um, uh, doing fentanyl themselves, like Seven Bomar, and then playing with people on the computer, talking about their spiritual and shit like that. And that's when they feel good and connected. Yeah, and they're on meth, basically from space drugs. So what's gonna end up happening is one of the things I told you about is this was my thesis for school, fentanyl. I was gonna do a paper on fentanyl, and they saw it, and they knew I was an astrologer, and they started stalking, harassing me. Yeah, I remember like I would be doing my homework, and then there's like white men like Matt Haney talking in my ear, like, that's not how you spell that. This is how you spell that. And I'm like doing my papers and I'm in my master's program. Right. Did you just hear that? So I was gonna bring that paper because this is gonna matter in the cartel in a minute. Yeah, isn't that what they say when they tell you to come play? And you go play with that bequite? Somebody feels so mad that they're just like in the middle of this. Right. So well, that's happens when you play with fire. Well, well, Oh no. Okay. So that's what I have for you guys. Okay. So now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is that's what I have for you guys, okay? So that should end up breaking fentanyl. But what I'm also gonna do is this floating point is very intuitive. So what about the people that are taking fentanyl and selling it and they're using it? They should deserve to suffer, they do. So it's gonna link that. But for the aliens and stuff like that that are playing with fentanyl and think it's a super drug, it's gonna break. For people that were drugged too in the cartel, it's gonna break for you. A lot of stuff you're gonna see end up happening. It's very intuitive. This type of floating point is the heavy numbers. You're talking big dookie, baby. Whoa, they're really this. Okay, so it's gonna stop completely. So that's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys